I would like for you to note how little material escapes and falls to the floor as the stucco is applied. This tradesman had 2 minutes of explanation prior to attempting to do this for the first time. Later in the ceiling application, his boss takes over, who again has never attempted to do this, and he completes the ceiling panel embedding. Again, little material falls to the floor. What did fall occurs due to air pressure at the dispensing nozzle being set a bit too high. Material properties are such that adhesion is a natural trait of the design mix. Within minutes of application, the finish coat was applied to the wall surface, and the ceiling was troweled and sponge-coated to its finished texture. Application pumps such as these can apply upwards of 1,400 square feet per hour. Mixing of the transfer material batches becomes the key to rapid application.
Good for exterior.
Yeah, exactly.
These are the test results of an embedded plaster panel in the cooling mode. Please note the uppermost light blue line is the outside ambient temperature probe that sits 9 inches off the building surface in midair. After the test began, the ambient condition remained over 100+ degrees all day with one brief exception. The next line down is the interior ambient temperature. It began around 75 degrees and climbed to 78 degrees by day's end. The next line, and most interesting, is the BTU comfort panel's surface temperature. It dropped to 60.5 degrees within 45 minutes and climbed by day's end to 65.5 degrees. The remaining 2 lines depict the supply and return water to and from the panel. They remained around 55.5 degrees on the supply side and slightly warmer on the return side. Depicted here is a color schematic of a panels at the ceiling of a typical new construction home for radiant heating and cooling. The blue panels represent the standard universal panels with a mix of 4 to 8 inch on-center tubing. The orange area represents the multi-directional panels, again with similar on-center spacing. Here we see the individual circuits overlaid on the colored areas. The lower right-hand corner depicts a 4-inch on-center banding of tubing in multi-directional panels. The light blue area depicts a 8-inch on-center placed in standard universal panels. The room directly to the left is laid out in a very typical radiant serpentine pattern at 4 inches on-center. As we move upward in that room, you will see the tubing spacing change to 8 inches on-center. Just to the left, the all-solid orange area is a 4-inch on-center multi-directional panels and a counterflow pattern. Towards the top of the plan, there are areas above the tubs and the showers where the tubing is left out. System controls provide for the monitoring of dew point in any given zone and will shut off the supply water if dew point is approached. Once past dew point and a call for conditioning still exists, then the system will once again flow the supply water. The system for radiant heating and cooling need be no more complicated than the above layout. This is the system I've used for the past 2.5 years in my warehouse. Simple, straightforward, and it completely does the job of comfort conditioning. Even though we hit temperatures that go well below 25 degrees, I opted not to use a boiler backup. The optional air handler was installed. I use a 1.5-ton hydronic coil high velocity Unico system, keep my air fresh and filtered. This system, much the same as the previous, is backed up by a boiler. Should you live in an area where ambient temperatures are below 25 degrees, this would fit that type of application. There are a multitude of ways to control and pipe system, each with pros and cons. This concludes our presentation. Thank you for joining us. Should you seek additional information, that can be found on our website.